Lovely to have you and welcome to a lovely full Vaal Dam.
I know, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's
it
good
is.
to see after the drought that we've had. So it's actually
December is at the end of December, 24%, and it's
crazy.
102% today. It's incredible.
That's incredible.
How quickly
Yeah,
it's filled
something
up.
to celebrate.
It is. It is.
So, John, we're interviewing you obviously for our Breed of the Month segment, which this month will focus on the Limousin. But before we start talking about the breed, I'd like to just talk about you first. So how did you get into farming? When did you get into farming? Why farming, considering it's such a difficult profession? What was the draw to enter this particular career?
Well, I've always wanted to be either an architect, a farmer, and I eventually became a chartered accountant. So
Go figure.
it didn't work out exactly how I planned. And I was writing my last exam at Wits University in 1981, and my future wife walked past me and asked me if I wanted to swap cars. And I said, no, I'd prefer to swap telephone numbers. And 4 years later, we got married. To Tracey. I married Tracey, a wonderful lady. We're celebrating our 40th anniversary this year.
Oh, wow.
And she's an amazing business lady in her own right. I'm really, if you mind me just saying this, there's a Hall of Fame for financial planners. And they just introduced it. And there's 6 people in the world that have been invited to attend an awards ceremony, which we're flying across to Canada next week. And she's one of the 6.
That's amazing.
It is truly amazing. And that's her consistent, unbelievable performance year after year.
Oh, wow,
so I'm a privileged husband.
Yeah.
I'm going as the Uber taxi driver and the Uber baggage master to Canada.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Congratulations to Tracey.
Yeah, she is truly
That's
amazing.
fantastic.
And she's supported me all the way in my farming life. We bought the farms in 1988, the first farm. And it was 205 hectares with 4 kilometers on this beautiful Vaal Dam. And it's subsequently expanded. And over the years, we managed to buy another 6 farms. And it's now 1,350 hectares with 20 kilometers of waterfront on the dam. And we run this beautiful herd of Limousin stud animals. And we're privileged to be the custodians of the land and of the cattle in this beautiful part of the world. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But so why did you choose farming though? Like how did
I
that
think
come into?
it's in your heart and soul and mind, and I didn't know what I was doing. I was a city slicker from Johannesburg. We used to come and camp and boat on the Vaal Dam, and hence this was a place that attracted me and Trace to the farm, and we came here and bought an auction with some help from a very good friend, Ben Klopper, who's now living in Australia. He helped us. And he actually bid it and bought the farm, and everyone went and shook his hand. He said, "No, it's for John and Tracey." It's been a 35-year project, and there wasn't anything here, and we've had to start from scratch. We've had to pay for the land. You've had to recapitalize the land. You've had to work the land. And it's been a few challenges along the way, and then lots of successes, which motivates and keeps you going.
Yeah.
And so hence, I think today there's a lovely farm for everybody to come and enjoy. Yeah.
And how did you... So obviously Devlin Limousines, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a stud farm, right? So,
correct.
Yes. So how did you get into stud farming specifically?
Well, we started with a few Brahman cattle, and the reason we did that, commercial Brahmins, the reason we did that was we had a lot of weeds, kakibos, and the cattle ate the weeds. So we put a boundary fence on the initial thing. We burnt it and cleaned it, and then we bought some Brahman cattle from Ben, and then the big thing was to buy a bull. And what bull went on to here. And it was touch and go between Charolais and Limousin. And I went to Reneken and found a bull from Oom Willie van Eerden in those days. And he sold me this most amazing Limousin bull that got these Brahman cattle pregnant. And these beautiful cross calves popped out. And they used to have a slaughter competition in Vereeniging. And I never attended it, but for a couple of years we sent our animals there. We fattened them up. We used to win the best slaughter ox, the champion, and the best of 4 against some serious competition. The AECI, Department of Water Affairs, they were all there. Canheim was there, all competing. And I didn't know, but I used to send these animals off, and they used to get slaughtered, and we used to win prizes, and everybody loved these crosses. So the best cross for me is a Brahman, a Bos Indicus with a Bos Taurus, which is the Limousin's a Bos Taurus. It's far apart, and 1 + 1 makes 2.4. Much more, 20% more meat naturally with a hybrid vigor, and a small, easy carving, and well adapted to the area. So they did phenomenally well. How we got into the stud was I didn't enjoy sending them off to be slaughtered. I thought, let me breed something that I can sell the bulls or sell the females to another fellow
for
breeder.
that purpose, for breeding.
And that's how we decided to. We started with 3 pure Limousin heifers, used that original bull who'd done exceptionally well for us, and that's how we started and got involved with the Limousin stud breeding. Yeah.
So you started as commercial farmers. So I think that's usually the track that farmers seem to take, as you start commercial and then you eventually move to stud, if you ever move to stud farming. So what would you say are the particular benefits of running Limousin cattle?
Sure, there are many.
List them, we've got time.
First of all, they're an impressive-looking animal. The meat they carry. The local indigenous breeds are fertile, well adapted to Africa, but they don't carry enough meat, and the feedlots discriminate against them. The Limousin just adds that extra beef onto them. It
is a very beefy animal,
Yeah, it's just a wonderful cross. And secondly, the Limousins are well adapted to Southern Africa. We're known as a Southern African Limousin Breed Society, and our president, Jan Stichling, is from Botswana. So we don't even have a president here locally because we are the Southern African Breed Society. They're well adapted into Namibia, Botswana, Zambia, Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and throughout South Africa. And they were introduced into South Africa 50 years ago. We're celebrating our 50th anniversary this year at Bloemfontein. And we're all very excited about that. And we're having our national show there this year at the end of April.
Okay.
So we're also excited about that and what's headed our way. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And in terms of carving, for example, is a Limousin an easy carver, low birth weights, higher birth weights?
Yeah, good question. The Limousin has this profit gene known as the F94L profit gene. And it really is an amazing gene. It produces small calves, easy calving, and those calves really put on beef. They're small and easy. You'll see them later. I can show you them and how they calve. And then they just compound and expand as they're going up to weaning stage. And they really are impressive, the meat that they carry. Yeah.
And how would you say the mothers, in terms of maternal instinct, are they quite attached to their calves? I mean, I've seen cows who sort of just leave their calves to one side and disappear. But so how does the Limousin fare in that?
No, really well,
way?
Really well. We do have a jackal problem here, but we haven't hunted for the last 5 years because and we use donkeys actually to help protect them. So the donkeys in the calving camps, and we haven't maybe one or two a year might get taken, but I think this last season we haven't had any taken.
Okay.
So you've got to hunt, selectively and as and when it's needed. But for 30 odd years we never hunted, and it was ridiculous what happened with the jackal. They were having a feast.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Good grief.
But we took them out and it solved the problem. Yeah.
And so you obviously follow a breeding season. So from when to when do you typically breed?
Well, you've got to work with the environment. So with our heifers, we bull them right about the beginning of November, and with our cows, a month later from December, 1st of December, till the end of February. So last week we did pregnancies.
Okay.
The first week in March, and we got a 75% conception rate, which is pleasing and where we should be at this stage. We've still got 4 to 6 weeks to still confirm whether they're pregnant or not. I estimate we'll be between 85 and 90% conception rates
that's high.
at the end of the thing. So our animals are well adapted to the area, and they're functionally efficient, and they're fertile. We've won the cow group of the year for many, many years, and last year again, because of our fertility and what we focus on. It's really important to us to get our cows pregnant and to produce and wean a live calf. That's the most important profitable trait.
Yeah,
as a cattleman or a stockman.
Of course.
Yeah.
And do you use artificial insemination, or is it all natural, or is it a combination of both?
A combination. We do use artificial insemination. We have bred some exceptional bulls with AI. We also use embryo transfers, and we've done quite a lot. It's an expensive exercise, an embryo transfer.
So that's like embryo flashing, right?
Yes, flashing. We use in vitro.
Yeah, okay.
And we flash the cows, and we use the best genetics, the best, the national champion bulls, national champion cows, put them together. And I think finally, after all the years of embryos, we might have bred, there looks like 2 potential weaners that have popped out. But that's difficult. I'm not very successful with that. The natural method for me is the best method. You need numbers. As an accountant, if you breed 100 cows and heifers, out of that 100, you'll wean about 85%. You'll wean 85% live calves, and of those 85, 2 or 3 will be exceptional. And that's the way we've done it. We use genetic variation, different bulls, different lines, put them together. We haven't done much inbreeding or what they call line breeding. It's funny because they say when it's a failure, it's inbreeding. When it's a success, it's line breeding. So we haven't done much of that, but I will be focusing on that going forward. We'll do a bit more of that to see, if we can. You enhance the good genetics and the good parts of the animal, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. And then, what would you say are your plans, sort of looking forward, for your stud? Like, what are you hoping to achieve? Let's give it a time frame within the next 5 years.
It's a really good question. I was fortunate to be introduced to Marnie Swartz and Nicolene. They joined me on the 1st of January this year, and what a breath of fresh air. Marnie's a drought master. He runs a drought master stud, and his drought master animals are here on the farm.
Oh, yeah.
He's an experienced stockman, and he's helping me with our taking all the blows on the farm, because there are some blows here. And it's an absolute pleasure having Marnie and Nicolene here. And so I really do believe in 6 months' time we'll be at a seriously good level. I mean, we're not at a bad level already, because I've been doing this thing part-time. Marnie lives here. This is his home. So already I can feel the difference after 2 months. There's a lot more happening. It's a lot better. And I'm excited about where we're headed. So I think Marnie is going to be maybe I'm putting it too much reliance on Marnie, but I think we're going to take this thing to new heights.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting.
Yeah, we'll come back in a year. And
you'll see.
Do the same interview again.
And I'm 68 years old, so it's time to slow down a bit, enjoy a bit of travel with Tracey.
Yeah.
And which we did quite a lot of last year, and
Very
we intend
nice.
to do a bit more this year.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Time to sort of enjoy your spoils as well.
Yeah,
it's not all work.
Exactly.
And then actually, I also wanted to ask you, if you don't mind saying, but how many cattle do you actually have?
We run a stud herd of between 500 and 600. It varies based on sales and where we are, what the market's demanding, and whether we should be selling more or less.
Okay.
And you've got no control over the weather. It was really dry until
Recently,
end of December, really tough. And now suddenly the heavens have opened, and 188 mils of rain in February and 75 already in March. It's incredible. So we've been truly blessed with the rain. So I think you've got to just read the market and interest rates and the economy. Your input costs have gone up. It's tough being a cattle farmer. It's not easy. So
I think that's a good lesson for perhaps sort of new farmers or small scale farmers, is that you don't have to get stuck on a particular number for your herd. You need to read the sort of environment. Like if it's a very dry year, for example, you may want to do with fewer cattle than more cattle. But I sometimes get the impression that farmers are stuck with, like, I have to have this amount of cows, otherwise I'm not successful. So I think that's quite valuable information.
Very good point you raise. In December, because there was just no demand for the cattle, for the bulls, which November, December, October, November, we should have had a demand. Normally there is demand. The demand's picked up now after the rain, but there was nothing. So we loaded up a lot and took a lot off for slaughter. It's very sad, and there was many animals that shouldn't have been, bulls that should not have been slaughtered. They were taken out because it just didn't look very promising at that stage.
And sometimes you have to
and you've got
sacrifice
to
few for the many.
just close your eyes and do what's right for...
Cut where necessary.
Absolutely.
And then also, I think quite important, because obviously, in South Africa we have high tick loads and high sort of disease burdens. How does the Limousin fare against that? Are they quite tick resistant? Are they quite disease resistant? How often do you dip, for example?
That's also a good question. We don't dip very much over winter at all. It's so cold here. It goes to minus 10. And the wind chill factor of the water here, it can be really cold. But in summer, we use solution 3.5, sorry, and we inject that twice a season. That helps a lot. And then we dip as required. We try and look for 15 ticks that are visible on the animal. There are about 150 ticks on the animal. The animals are well adapted to here. We've got bad gall sickness, and we have got some red water, but not as bad as like in Polokwane or up into Botswana or into Zambia, where our animals go. We do use Onderstepoort blood for Asiatic red water and African red water. We inject all our calves with that to build up a resistance. But like last year, it was impossible to get any blood from Onderstepoort, I think it's available now, so we'll do it this June, and we'll try and catch up with the animals that didn't get it last year, and but it's another challenge that you have as a farmer in Africa.
No, for sure. It's just no way that you're going to sidestep all of the challenges with any breed. It doesn't matter.
No, exactly. So and so our animals do adapt well into the tick area. They adapt into the Kalahari, into Namibia, up at Polokwane, Botswana, where Jan is. And there's Heartwater, there's red water, both types of red water. So, they adapt.
They thrive there. Yeah. Do you have any idea how big the national herd is?
Yes, I do. I think we're at about 10,000.
It's quite substantial.
And there are about 60-odd breeders in the national herd. So we're a small breed. In terms, when you compare ourselves to the Bonsmara and the Brahmins, they're massive. But
do you see an upward trajectory? Do you think it's growing?
Yes, I do. And I think when people come here and they test our bulls on their local commercial indigenous cows, they can see the difference. They can feel the difference. They get more money for their calves. And it's just common sense. It just everybody's in the whole chain, the meat chain is benefiting from, and I know they're sought after by feedlots. The feedlots love them, and the Limousin crosses, they love them. So and we are expanding into Southern Africa, so they're well adapted throughout, and doing well.
So lots of good reasons to invest in the Limousin.
Mutanda Farms, Arturo has bought numerous Limousin bulls, and he's got Borans, and he's using that cross, which is doing well up in Zambia for him. Yeah,
it's very, very good.
So it's hopeful. And looking positive. Yeah.
Sure, it definitely looks positive. I actually look forward to seeing where the Limousin's going to go within the next, let's say, 5 to 10 years. I think there definitely seems to be more demand for the breed.
Yeah, I think what's unfortunately happened in our industry, the quality, the fat content of the animal has been emphasized, and it's the only thing in the be all and end all of our breed. As an accountant, there is another aspect, and that's the quantity of beef that we can produce. And it just makes common sense as to when you cross the local indigenous breeds, or which aren't carrying enough meat, with a Limousin type animal, how much more beef we can just produce naturally. From a farmer's point of view, from when you put it into the feedlot, how much more better they convert feed into meat, and when you take it to the abattoir, and how much more is hanging on the carcass. It's significant. And when they cut the meat off the bone, the meat yield is phenomenal. So that's a story for another day, and it just makes common sense. But I believe anything between 50 and 70% more meat just naturally by using a Limousin bull on your local indigenous breeds. The quantity of beef aspect has been ignored by our industry, and it's a huge opportunity that's a lost opportunity that we're not exploiting and should be. The industry needs to have a look at that, and I'm sure everyone will reap the whole benefits and the whole chain, the meat chain. Everybody will be making more money and more profit.
Sounds good to me. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me. Oh, again, I keep on saying you joining me, but I'm actually joining you. So thank you for having us. It really is such a beautiful farm. I mean, the scenery here is incredible. It was really, really nice talking to you. So a veteran of the industry, I would say. So thank you very, very much for giving us your time.
It's been wonderful having Farmers Weekly. You and Gary and Carlos, thank you. Really great to have you here today.